Hey, what's up, my ladies out there? I'm doing this video for you. This is going to be 6 type of guys that will ruin your life and that you should avoid. 6 type of guys that will ruin your life. So a little about me. Coach Mitchell H. As I said, I have a bachelor's in business and I have a minor in human services, which encompasses psychology, sociology, developmental psychology, cultural anthropology, drugs and society. So a number of sciences that deal with human behaviors and human psychology. So I'm going to get started. But first, I want to ask you to please like this video, share and subscribe and comment, please. So, I would like to grow with my material and evolve and hopefully fulfill some of your needs or to continue to view and subscribe and comment. So anyway, I'm going to get started with the 6 type of guys that can ruin your life. Number 1, and I'm looking at a paper here and I apologize for that, but number 1 is the controlling type and the insecure type. These guys are dangerous. I know a lot of women think it's cute in the beginning, but guys like this can be very dangerous. Listen, it's natural for us to have some insecurity and some jealousy, and I forgot to put jealousy in that. It's natural for us to have some of that, but it's another thing when, I'll give you a good example. When my daughter was 13 or 14, which her mother let her have a little crush. We had gone out to movies with one of her classmates, a boy in her class that had a big crush on her boyfriend. He made sure he sat in between my daughter and I throughout the theater. But I would still look over him. I'll talk to him, but I look and I talk to her. My son told me, do you know he complained to her about how much I spoke to her and tried to accuse me of something of really, really, really sick. And this was a 13-year-old kid. So I could imagine what he's like now. But anyway, yeah, someone that's insecure and controlling like that. Listen, those guys, you'll know them. You can spot them because they'll get jealous of your brother. They'll get jealous of a relative. They'll get jealous of any man, your boss, whatever. They'll think you're sleeping with them. They'll think you're sleeping with everybody. You got to avoid somebody like that. Is a lame. They're dangerous. They're insecure. They're jealous. They're controlling. Now, he may be good looking. You may love the attention at first, but be careful because it's going to get dark. It will get dark. And then it won't be so funny. And sometimes it'll be too late for you to get out of it. So when you spot those signs early, I'm telling you, you got to dead that quick. So anyway, number 2 is the type of guy that will tear you down. Listen, every day we all deal with challenges. When we turn on the TV, we go on the internet, we're constantly being reminded that we're not perfect, that we should have this kind of body, we should have this kind of car, our eyes should be this color, our hair should be this texture, our body should have this type of shape. We're constantly being told that we're not good enough. Our skin should be this light, our skin should be this dark. I mean, yeah, our skin, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You go through this. So imagine dealing with someone and you're already having some insecurities and someone that's actually pushing you down even more or underlining those securities, reinforcing them because they may not even be real. They may not even be true. It could be just all in your head. You may think something about yourself that the world doesn't even see, but this person zeroes in on that. And if you know them because you may have weight issues and he'll tell you that you look fat or that doesn't look good on you. Anytime you get a sense of accomplishment, he tears it down. You get a promotion at work, he'll say, well, that's only because your boss wants to sleep with you. He has to shoot it down. You didn't get that on your own effort. There has to be some catch to it, or he has to put something, he has to taint it with something. So you want to stay away from men like that because you won't go far with someone like that. They will destroy you from the inside out if you're going to stay with someone that's going to tear you down. Do not stay with a man that tears you down. Any man should build you up. And for any men that's listening, listen. I don't care if you think that it's going to make her look at you as a sucker or a simp. Because to me, if you're a man and you're confident and you love yourself, if you want to take it that way as a woman, if you want to take my compliments and corrupt it, that's on you. That's not going to change who I am. Because I'm going to be the same person I am no matter who I am with. So anyway, and there's always going to be a woman that's going to appreciate that. That you'll find a woman that's going to appreciate hearing you. I'm not saying all day long, hey, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful. I mean, like, when you sense that she may not be confident in something, you got to say, baby, look, you got this. The universe brought you to this moment for a reason. You got this. Now it's just up to you to go out there and make it happen. That's how a man's supposed to talk to you. That's how a man that loves you will talk to you. So anyway, the third one is a man that's financially reckless. I still believe, I'm old fashioned, that men are supposed to be the leaders financially in the relationship. And call me sexist, call me old fashioned, I really don't care. It's worked for me. It has never failed me. I like being in a position where I can pay for anything that I want in life, and that I can treat my woman very well, because I know that if she doesn't appreciate it, I can take that to someone else. That's how much I believe in what I got. So, but if you want a man that is financially reckless, why would you want to deal with that? That's like being with a child. He's going to bring you down. I'm going to tell you a true story. I know a woman who is broken right now, living in a shelter, because she trusted this man. She dated this man where she was always a financial breadwinner. Bought this man a car. He got that. He crashed that. Bought him another car. He got that one taken away because he wasn't making payments. Then ran up her credit card, not just her credit card, withdrew money from her bank account and vanished on her. Single mom, vanished on her and his child, completely vanished. So now she's going through the courts to locate this man, left her with nothing. Let me tell you something, ladies. If you're dealing with a man that's financially reckless, don't be so insecure that you think you know where that man is. Because let me tell you about women that deal with men like that. Those are women who tend to be very insecure, and they like being in a position of power and control. If they're the breadwinner, they think that puts them in a position of power and control, but it doesn't, because it's an unnatural relationship. It's an unnatural one. And he eventually is going, if he doesn't love you enough to step it up, then he's going to step off. Either you push him out, either by will or by force. But a lot of times they're going to leave you before you leave them, and leave you broken when they leave. Once they got everything out of you, those guys are gone. Those are very dangerous kind of men. I don't understand. Men like that to me are psychopaths. So I'm going to go to number 4 is the mama's boy, the grown child. Listen, I know a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people. I could go on and on with stories like this, but I'll tell you one. I have an ex who, she dated this guy who his mother was always in their relationship. If his mother said no, it was no. If his mother said yes, it was yes. Listen, a lot of women get their egos in the way, and you want to have a tug of war with the mother, and you want to get into a battle with the mother, a power struggle with the mother. You're going to lose. Most of the time you're going to lose, because she already invested a lot into, she's had his whole life to make him the Frankenstein she wants him to be. And if you know anything about Frankenstein is a monster created by a scientist, and the scientist put the brain of, I think, a killer or whatever in his head. So this guy didn't even really have his own brain. So you have a lot of mothers out there who, mama's boys, their mothers spend their whole lives nurturing that brain of their son and building that brain to function how they want it to function. So when you get into a relationship with a man like that, you see his mother's all in it. You get into a fight, he's calling the mother's calling you. Why you did this to my baby? And he's 35 years old, 5 years old, even 20 years old. So, to me, that stops at, I would say 21. That's when that should stop. But once a man is past that and his mother's all in your relationship, that relationship is done. Unless you like dealing with that. Because he's the type that's going to tell you, hey, why aren't we moving with my mother? Not even let the mother move in with you. He's going to want you and him to move in with his mother. Why would you deal with someone like that? The mama's boy, or their children, or a man who, even if he's not a mama's boy, I say mama's boy, the child type, a guy you got to lead and do everything for. He's either playing video games. He can't apply for a fucking job without you filling out the application for him. He can't do anything. He can't dress his goddamn self without your participation. Why would you deal with a man like that? Why would you? He'll ruin your life, because you spend most of your time trying to raise this child. You won't have time for yourself. You will be exhausted. So number 5 is the damaged guy. Now, I should have saved that one for 6 because it's the worst. Yeah, I'm going to go to 6, then go back to the damaged guy. Is the cheap dude. I don't even have to elaborate on that. Why would you be with a man that's cheap? I'm not talking about broke. A man that has money, but he's cheap. A man that's cheap is one of these guys that they will buy themselves something nice. Cheap men ain't always cheap. They're not cheap with themselves. They may be cheap with their clothing. They may be cheap with something, things that are, you may think they would spend more on. But men that are cheap always has one or few things that they spend a lot of money on. And that could, I'm gonna be honest, let's have an adult conversation. Sometimes it'll be sex. They'll spend money on hookers, prostitutes. They'll spend money on electronic gadgets. They'll spend money on cars, but then get in a relationship with you and be cheap. They don't want to go to a nice restaurant, but they'll go out and buy themselves a nice car. They'll buy themselves a nice video game system. They'll buy themselves a video game setup that costs almost $10,000, but go out on a date with you and want to spend 40. And then bitch if you ask for dessert. Come on, ladies, man. Step your game up. I don't care what you think you look like or how you feel about yourself. Step your game up, and you'll see the right guy come in the picture. And number six, I'll go back to the damaged guy. Damaged guy is a guy who is, I think, the most dangerous, because guys like that could be a guy who's been cheated on before or cheated on more than once. And they're at a point where they're not going to let that happen again. They already made their minds up. They can't handle another upset. And it could be that they got cheated on. It could be that they had a bad relationship with their mother a lot of times. They had an abusive mom, which I wish our society, we always focus on abusive dads, but society really needs to do something about malicious mom syndrome. Women who use the child against the father and abuse the child in the middle of it, or take out their hatred of the father onto their children. And you have sometimes some men have come from that environment. And you're dealing with a guy that is emotionally and psychologically delicate. But I know a lot of women, you want to love a man like that because you feel you have a mommy role in that, or you want the credit to say that you're the one person that loved him and built him up. Let me tell you something, that is a fool's errand, because you will always be, nothing you do will ever be enough for this guy. Now, this damaged guy, he takes on the characteristics of a lot of the other ones that I mentioned in the list, like the insecurity, the controlling, the jealousy. But his may not be, could be all of those or a little bit of all of those, but then he has something underneath that. And that's that fragile. He's fragile right now. He's emotionally and psychologically fragile. Where he's no longer in the neurotic state. He's in the psychotic state. And anything can push him over in that area. So I want to say, you as a woman, if you're dealing with a guy that you know, once he starts telling you he's been cheated on, and you go out with your friends and he's saying, I've been cheated on, and he's freaking out because you can't spend every waking minute with him and you can't respond to all his calls, you got to get out of that. You got to get out of that, because it's only going to get worse for you. And as a woman, I feel sorry for a lot of women out there, because the police don't always get involved. They can't until the person actually does something. So why even let it get that far? So anyway, please like, share, subscribe, or comment. I'm Coach Mitchell H.